Hello. It is me. Why do I always start with a chuckle? Anywho. Hello. The Psychic Tarot. You saw the title card here. Or the thumbnail. So, the Psychic Tarot, I think most of us are familiar with it. It's been around for a while, the early 2000s, I would say. It's the very first deck I ever bought. Ever. When I was 18. And because of that, it's like ingrained in my psyche. You know, it's like, I love it so much because it's the only deck I had for quite a minute there. And it was the first. It was the first, deck that I really got to use and have as my own. And you know what I mean? And it, for me, reminds me of all these memories of being young and getting my friends into Magic as well. Because I was that person. And giving them readings with this. And it was a lot of firsts in my mind are tied to this deck. And nostalgia and things like that. So, for that reason, I love it. But I actually gave it away a really long time ago. Like over 10 years ago. Actually, probably 10 years ago this year. That I probably is around the time that I gave it away. To one of the friends that I got into Magic with. And, or I got them into Magic with me. And, I gave it away. Because at that time I was like, you really connect to this deck, you know the vibe. And so, at the time when I had it, my boyfriend that I was dating at the time, he also had it. And there's just so many memories attached to it. And it was just very influential and big for me. So I decided to rebuy it. And all these years later. And reconnect with it. Because I had been really wanting an Oracle deck. That, because yeah, it's called the Psychic Tarot, but it's an Oracle deck. But I had wanted an Oracle deck that could kind of be my base Oracle deck for readings online with you all. Because, as you may know, when you book specifically an Oracle reading with me, you get to pick from the Tao Te Ching / Feng Shui deck, or the Goddess Guidance deck, the Angel Therapy deck, the Gods and Titans deck, or the Goddesses and Sirens deck. And I think that's it, right? Yeah, that's it for our oracles. That's a lot of options, but if you notice, those are all very heavily themed decks, like just goddesses, just gods. While I do appreciate actually it's not Tao Te Ching or Feng Shui, it's the I Ching deck. But while I do appreciate the I Ching deck, it is not popular. No one picks it. None of you pick it. Ever. When we do readings. But I didn't like pigeonholing people into these specific types of decks that don't necessarily have a lot of variety and aren't necessarily user-friendly. Like for you to, or receptive friendly. If that makes sense. I wanted a deck that has very plain English on it, very plain wording, easy to understand images for you, the receiver of the deck. That way when I hold up a card that says, oh, I pulled Athena, you're not like, well, I don't know what that means. You know? So, I immediately thought about the Psychic Tarot. And I was like, man, I need that deck again. So, I literally just pulled this out of the mailbox. Okay? And so I rebought it. Of course, it comes with a booklet. And as you see, it is the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. There's a companion deck called the Psychic Heart Tarot, I think, or something like that. But, I like the original. I really like this a lot. As I said, the nostalgia for me is huge with it because it was my first. So anywho, I just wanted to flip through the cards with you and show you the images. I'm going to show you every image. So this is kind of an unboxing, I suppose. So, let's get started. Plus, I'm on a time crunch. but I think we can make this work. So, as always, as I shuffle, I'm going to remind you that we can do a reading together. I can read your runes. I can read your tarot cards. I can read the oracle decks for you. I can read your Ogham or Oakham. I will read everything for you. I will actually even read playing cards for you. I will do pretty much any divination system you want. Point blank. I am huge in divination. It's my calling. It's my jam. And therefore I try to be knowledgeable in all forms of divination. So hit me up. You can follow the link down below. There's my link tree. You'll see it. Click on my link tree and then go to my Facebook. And there you can look at all the different services I offer, my prices, and you can send me a DM over on Facebook or on Instagram. And from there, we'll get you set up with a reading. You can pick a day and time or whatever if you want to do a live reading. Otherwise, I will do the reading on my own and send you a written report and photographs of the reading. Usually the same day. Sometimes it's the next day, depending on the time that you book the reading in that day. Anywho, so let's go through these. I'm so excited for you to see them. If you're not familiar with this deck, I hope you love it. I love it so much. So much. Oh, look, you can see... What am I doing? You can see a bottle of black cat oil that I'm working on. I love black cat oil. Neat. Okay. Anywho. So, first we have... You know, I really should have probably showed you these in order, but oh well. I'm just going to blow through these. We're just looking at the images. With me singing in the background. See, this is a perfect example of plain, easy to understand imagery. The wordage is very straightforward. This is why I love this deck. It's very easy to read if you're a beginner. Very easy. It was the perfect deck for me at the time. But it's also easy, so easy for people who have no background in tarot or the arcane, the occult at all. It's a deck so easy for them to understand. And the imagery is very safe. There's no devil card, nothing like that. No religious imagery really at all. It's very plain, straightforward, easy to understand, easy to receive. It's not an intimidating deck at all. It's really appropriate for everyone of every religious or spiritual experience, I think. You know, I said there's no religious imagery. And we pull an angel, but you know what I mean. Also, if you want to help me get a better setup, a better camera that can really show you high res this and focus in on it, you should book a reading with me. Because the money I make, I try to really pour back into the channel. Like I bought a ring light with some of the money that I've made from my readings, and I've bought new altar supplies and artwork to try to increase the ambiance. Of course, I'm not using this today. But, yeah. So thank you very much. This was because of you guys. Thank you. So continue to book readings with me, which you all have. It's been really great. Just please leave a review. That would be awesome. After the reading, go to my Facebook and leave a review. That'd be great. Anywho. Deception and Envy. Emotional loss. I remember getting this card a lot in my early days, which is so sad. Okay. Memories of Love. These cards are so powerful. That the wordage and the imagery. I mean, come on. It really hits home to your psyche, which is appropriate, I guess. It is the Psychic Tarot. And it's a big deck, too. Like, the size of it. I love it. The weight. Now we're finally starting to get into more of the inclusive imagery in this deck. I do appreciate that about this. I remember this card coming up a lot when I was young. Also, by the time you see this, if you're watching it the day I'm putting it out, yesterday I put out our weekly forecast reading on a Wednesday again. Second week in a row we've done it on a Wednesday instead of a Sunday. But I hope you go check it out. I, for the second week, did a reading in tarot with the Justice League Tarot. So go check that out. It's a free 7-day reading for you. It's free. I love this card. She kind of looks like, oh my gosh, T2, Linda Hamilton. A little bit there. If you notice, there are kind of suites in this deck where there's collections of cards that have different colored borders and they're each individually numbered. All that's explained in the book, though, the little booklet that comes with this. But you don't have to really even acknowledge that part through the readings, but the deck does have some depth to it. She kind of looks like Delta Burke. Look, I'm making all these 80s celebrity references that I don't know how many of you are going to get. I'm a big fan of the 80s pop culture. I know that's random, but you know how we are on this channel. That's our title card from the cover here. Universe. We are like halfway through the deck now. It's a big deck. We finally got to another chakra. Oh, here we go again. I love that there are chakra cards in this deck. It's really cool. I think that really enhances the reading when you pull those. And gives you so much space to explore for divination when you're just pulling a chakra. It's really great getting this again and seeing these images. Each card kind of is awakening memories for me and instances of when I used these all the time. So it's really cool. It's nice. It's a good feeling. And, oh, yeah, I had another thought and I just lost it. But yeah, so that's nice. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Also, I really don't feel the need to have to kind of break in the cards. Do you know what I mean? Like where you really have to sit and connect with the cards and try to form a rapport. The rapport is already there. So it's just kind of like I reawakened it. So that's nice. I feel like these cards and me are already together. This is another favorite card of mine in the deck. I love the image. I love the triangle on there, and I love the mountain and the person with their back turned, like looking. And I love everything about this. I love the name of it. I love the imagery. It's always been one of my favorite well, it is one of my favorite decks, but it's one of my favorite cards in the entire deck. I just love it. I really feel the power in it. I remember this card always upsetting me when it came out. Because, when you're in your early 20s, you're usually, like, very poor and you're, like, struggling. And this card would come out all the time, and I'm like, okay, instead of financial and material changes, can I just get stability, please? What? I think like most people, if I pull a card in reverse on the Oracle, I don't read it in reverse. I just turn it around. But I respect that some people really enjoy reading cards in reverse across all forms of divination. Ogum in reverse, runes in reverse, everything. And I respect that. I like to follow my intuition on those things. So while I usually do not read at all anything in reverse unless it's tarot, if the instance feels right, then I'll read it in reverse. I remember this card. Ugh. I love this deck, I keep saying this deck. I do love this deck, but I love this card as well. Green's my favorite color, so of course I really like this because it's so green. But then I love the cup. I love that their two minds are merging. Like, literally their heads are together, but then it's like they're kind of pushing inside of each other. Like, it's like they're becoming one. It's a spiritual union, but I love it. I love it. And the energy, like the aura around them is kind of making like this green heart. I love it. I love everything about this card as well. I love it so much. Love that. That looks like the cover. This looks like, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. This imagery, like, God, my southern accent really came out there. This imagery, it really evokes the old DVD covers or VHS covers to certain kinds of horror films, like the Saws and like the gore horrors. I mean, does it not? It looks like the cover to a horror film. Is that just me? I think it does. I'm a huge horror fan. I mean, hello, wearing a Jaws shirt, but I'm a big horror fan. I love horror. And our last card, here we go. Mental Conflict. Great image. That is the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. It is lovely. I love it. Thank you so much for flipping through it with me. Oh God, I just can't wait to use it. Thank you. That is like tarot. I love it so much. So much. It's my fave. Super fave. Um, this and the Wisdom of Avalon Oracle decks. I love them so much. They're the first two decks I ever bought of anything. So I love them so much for that. Because of that, they're my favorites. Thank you so much. And don't forget to follow the links down below where you can check out me on other social media, look at my merch, and book a reading with me on Facebook. Goodbye.